Oh, and another thing having to do with an animal that really angered me. So on November 22nd, I was driving to work in the morning, and I'm driving along this country road. It's about 20 miles from my town to the town where I work. So I'm midway there. I'm about 12, 13 miles into my drive. Uh, and this cop car had started following me for about 5 or 6 miles. It even pulled over to the road to let me pass it and then drove by me. And then as I'm driving, I had to swerve because an animal, maybe a possum or a raccoon or a small rodent, got in the road, and I didn't want to hit it. So I swerved. Wee, 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 the lights go on. It's this little blonde copette, probably about 25 years old. This little girl who, even me as a middle-aged man without the gun, I could have just thrown her through, tossed her 20 feet. And she stops me and said, "Oh, why did you swerve like that?" I said, "Well, you've been following me for 5 or 6 miles. Did you not see the little animal that I tried to hit? I try not to kill things." She said, "Oh," and so she looks up. She does her thing, goes radios, finds my license plate to see that there's no warrants. Rather than she says she's going to let me go with just a warning. I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, I've got to go to, where are you going? I'm going to work. You see me in my company uniform or company shirt. Uh, and it's like, what kind of a job is it that on a desolate 10-mile stretch of road at about 2:30 in the morning, whatever it was, you're just looking to cause trouble.
Can
And
I ask you a question
yeah,
before you go on? I
thank
went
God I
and
wasn't
visited.
black though.
I went and visited New Jersey and some areas of America, a very small segment, and I saw police cars everywhere.
Yeah.
When we were driving down highways and everything, there you don't have to drive far to see a police car. Now in Canada, and not just in small towns like Dawson Creek, but in areas like Vancouver or Toronto, I have driven through those areas, and you will rarely come upon a police car. But no matter if you're
Money,
in the
money.
train, there's just endless police. So is that just a day-to-day thing for you?
Yeah,
And was it worse when you were a kid?
well, these small town bubbas in rural Texas are different, but yeah, there was a whole department in New York called they would just write out tickets, the ticket bureau. There was a scandal in the 1980s for false tickets being written. I once got a parking ticket that was falsely given to me, and I fought it, and I finally won after they threatened to take away my license. But it's all about money here, because we have cowardly elected officials that the populace elects. They don't want to raise taxes on people. So what do? They get their money somehow for the new park bench or the new project or whatnot by giving out all these bullshit tickets. And so it's such a scam. I just really hate it. Um, it's such a scam, and yeah, it's all because of money. All because of money.
It seems too that I mean America, even though it's stated to be the land of the free and
Mm.
this great democracy, when I visited there, the day-to-day life in America is far worse than Canada.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean,
I believe that freedom of speech too is an illusion in both places. I think that there's consequences to saying anything there, whereas there's freedom of expression in Canada, and there are some more legal opportunities for uh, minor imprisonment if you speak out. But I will say that healthcare wise, things that affect everyone day to day, not people that are active in media, um, it's far worse in America. And there's really no opportunity and no safeguards put in place for its people.
well, because they want money. Everything here is about
Didn't you
money.
post on? You're one of the few people whose Twitter I even glance at. And didn't you post this one fellow or something who had like a $13,000 deductible
Yeah, yeah. A
for
woman, a woman posted that she pays. I think it's 13,000 a year. No, 18,000 a year with a $13,000 deductible. It's like this is insanity. This is why we need to totally get rid of private insurance. It does nothing but suck up resources. The Democratic debate a day was it a night or two ago? I watched some of the highlights of whatever 3 hour debate. I watched about 45 minutes of the non bullshit, and It's like, how are you going to pay for Medicare for all, Bernie, if it's going to cost $3 trillion a year? Well, in private insurance, we're paying with premiums and stuff already paying about 4 or 5 trillion here in this U.S. So going to a nonprofit thing, you're going to actually save $1 or 2 trillion each year. Yes, you're going to have to pay more in taxes, but you're not going to have to pay these deductibles. You're not going to have to pay 18,000 a year or 8,000 or 10,000, whatever it might be. It's so obvious, and it's so obviously being fought against because these people, they don't care about the vast majority of people. The there's just chaff, and I've railed about the stupidity of the average person. I'm not saying most people are intelligent or even great human beings, but they are human beings, and they may have a descendant that one day makes faster than light travel possible, or that does find a cure for this cancer, or to finally eliminate this and get rid of this, or make something, come up with a workable nuclear fusion, things that can do this. I mean, the political situation here, there are two overwhelming issues in America in the presidential election. One, getting to a green economy. We've got to stop global warming and get on top of it to try and reverse it. What gets me is you get these people who deny that global warming exists and is man-made, and then you get these other idiots that think that if we don't get it done in 8 years, the planet's going to end up like Venus. They know nothing about science, and people foment both sides. These things. There are dozens of ways that we can clean up the oceans, de-acidify the oceans, that we can pull carbon both mechanically and also naturally from the air if we get on it and do it. And there's a guy named Paul Hawken who, if you look up his name and look up his website, he has links to dozens of these things. There are dozens of ways to do things. Some areas of the world you can use solar power. Others it's going to have to be wind. Others it's going to have to be sage or wave power, and other things.
Well, the
No
Green
one.
Party of Canada is their platform is that they'll use thermal power, so they'll get energy from the Earth itself.
Yeah, I mean
And
you're going
use
to
it
have to have a lot. You have to drill down 20 plus miles
Mhm.
into the mantle somehow, and that's
Well, I've heard. I mean, some of them seem a little bit absurd, but I've heard even that they were thinking of doing that with Yellowstone. That it would be it would be a double bonus to go and harness the lava
yeah,
that is in
and reduce the
Yellowstone
pressure so that you don't have the super
and
volcano.
stabilize it so that it doesn't blow one day.
Yeah,
And at the same time, they would be able to use that energy for some resources. But I mean, these are all questions that are beyond me as just a writer and a person.
yeah.